Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to my first ever coaster review video. Today we're going to be talking about Jurassic World VelociCoaster at Universal Islands of Adventure. VelociCoaster is an Intamin Blitz LSM coaster that opened in 2021, and fun fact, there were rumors going about that it was supposed to be a churro stand, and so they ended up just giving people churros whenever they got off, whenever it soft opened. I found that really funny. It has a top speed of 70 miles an hour on the second launch, has a height of 155 feet at the top hat, and goes through 4 inversions. Now I just want to talk about like the presence of this ride a little bit because it is absolutely gorgeous. Whenever you go into Islands of Adventure and you see VelociCoaster's top hat just peeking over the lagoon a little bit, it's absolutely beautiful. And just looking at the top hat from like any point of view at any time during the day is amazing. My god, it is gorgeous! And not to mention, like, the entrance of the ride is also very grand as well. Like, I did not know they would do this much detail whenever they actually made this coaster. Let's start talking about the queue a little bit. The theming for VelociCoaster, it tells a story as you're walking through it, which is rare to see on any ride. The idea of VelociCoaster is that the people of Jurassic Park, under Claire Dearing's, like, I guess you could say CEO-ness, I don't know how to say it, they keep mentioning more teeth. And so Claire was like, all right, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna put a roller coaster in a fucking raptor paddock. And then, you know, you have Chris Pratt's character, Owen Grady, who's like, this is terrible, you should probably not do this, you are probably going to lose your toes. And Claire's like, oh no, it'll be just fine because we made it extra safe with, you know, blue lights, and that's about it. So the next room after the first room that you see the queue, you end up going back a little bit into the queue, but there's still great theming all around. But this one is where you can see the second launch tunnel, and I don't know how they designed it so well, but it's actually the second launch tunnel. Like, it's not a video, it's like the real launch tunnel. And there are windows that you can see where the train will absolutely fly past, and then you'll have like the raptors chasing them. Like, come on. After that, you go through a little like exhibit thing. I don't even know what to call it, but there are a lot of Easter eggs that you can find, including a book from Ian Malcolm. I think it's called How the World Will End. I do not remember. And you have videos of Mr. DNA talking about how you are going to get onto the ride, which is by placing every loose article into a locker, except for like watches and belts. I think you have to put in a locker, which good thing is that they're free, so it's not a big deal. You put everything in your locker, you go step through the metal detectors, and then you go upstairs and you are finally in the loading bay. But this is technically where the pre-show takes place. This is what I was talking about, which is describing the story of VelociCoaster on how it is an actual like coaster built inside a raptor paddock. And that video with Claire Dearing and Owen Grady actually plays in the loading bay. But another thing that I want to talk about is the loading station. What the fuck? This is crazy. Whenever you go outside, you can see the track and you can see trains running through the track. It looks absolutely insane. And the way that these trains run through the track, it looks so fucking whippy that it looks dangerous to even get on. But anyways, that's it about the queue and the loading station and all that. Let's actually talk about the ride. Flashing red lights, and then all of a sudden everything goes silent for a split second and you shoot out. It brings you from 0 to 50 in I think 2 seconds, but it doesn't have that much time to get you to 50 miles an hour because it doesn't have that much space. You got to realize that the raptor paddock is incredibly compact, and how they managed to fit this much track and theming into this paddock is insane to me. But immediately after you go through the first launch, you hit your first element and inversion in Immelman, and you kind of stall on this a little bit. In the front, you tend to stall out on a lot of these inversions in the first half, but whenever you're in the back row, you do kind of get yanked through everything. And so that is the first inversion right there. And what I found crazy is that even coming out of this Immelman and transitioning into the next element, there's fucking ejector airtime. Hello? And the problem is too is that there's sharp rock work directly above you, so I feel like I'm gonna hit my head every time I ride it. And I've ridden it 6 times. Now immediately after the Immelman, you come into a dive loop. And once again, if you're in the front row, you technically stall out, if you want to call it that. You kind of stall out. And then if you're in the back row, good luck because you're about to be yanked through this fucking element. You do end up getting ejector airtime going into the dive loop, especially like in the front row, you do get ejector airtime. And in the back row, you get like ejector plus being pulled through, which is insane to me. And then after that, you end up going through this insanely whippy section full of airtime hills, overbanked turns, steeply banked curves. It is madness. For how the video does this part justice, it really doesn't look that fast, especially because the first launch only gets you to 50 miles an hour, so you aren't going that fast. And especially since you stall out on the first 2 inversions, there really isn't much left to work with, but it makes good use of that speed. Oh my god. You do not feel like you're going slow at all going through this. It feels like you're going like 60 miles an hour the whole time. And it overall just kind of scares the shit out of you because of how intense it is. And then, yeah, you hit the second launch. This second launch is a rolling launch that gets you from 40 to 70 miles per hour. Hello? And that thing shoots you straight up the top hat, which is 155 feet tall, so it is definitely not, you know, a small top hat. You do end up losing a lot of speed, which is insane to me, and if you spot it a little bit, you can actually see a set of trims on top of the top hat, which intentionally slows the train down, so you do end up stalling a lot whenever you go over it, which that just terrifies me. Whenever you're in the front row, you do get really forceful ejector airtime coming into the top hat, but whenever you're in the back, oh Lord have mercy, you get absolutely yanked down, so you have fucking ejector airtime the entire top hat, and that's why I find the back row to be a lot better than the front row. And the ride doesn't let up after that. Oh hell no. You immediately swerve straight into your third inversion, a 0G stall. You end up getting insane hang time, which is what it's supposed to do, but then you immediately whip back, and then all of a sudden you're in a wave turn, and this wave turn doesn't take it lightly. It gives you some crazy ejector airtime, which is, oh my god. You come up, you have a little bit of an S turn thingy, which gives some insane laterals, and then after that you come back down, and then you hit an overbank turn that goes over the walkway into this ride's finale, which is probably one of the best finales I've ever ridden on a ride. You have a small ejector pop, but this is the Mosasaurus roll. It gives you ejector airtime going upside down before hitting two weird like S-bank curves and whatnot before getting ejector airtime running into the brakes. This was really the moment that left me absolutely speechless after I rode the ride. I just found it to be absolutely ridiculous. This ride is relentless from start to finish, and that is what I want to talk about, is the intensity and how it correlates to it being my favorite ride of all time. You know, whenever I look for a really good roller coaster, I want something that is completely relentless from start to finish, and VelociCoaster gives that, and it's such a great coaster overall. And you know a ride is good whenever it has multiple standout moments. Like, there are so many debatable standout moments for people. A lot of people say it's the Mosasaurus roll. A lot of people say it's the top hat. A lot of people say it's the first launch. A lot of people say it's like this, that, and the other, but the whole ride has a bunch of standout moments to where it's debatable which one is your favorite, and that's why I love this ride so much, is because it doesn't let up after like a mid-course brake run or whatever. It builds upon itself and makes the ride better and better and better. And the crazy thing is that the finale is like my favorite part of the whole ride. Like, I absolutely love, you know, the second half of the ride. It's definitely my favorite part. But to have multiple standalone moments of like, what the hell was that, is something that it's a rare occurrence in any coasters nowadays. Like, the three standout moments for me were probably easily the Mosasaurus roll, top hat, and then probably the 0G stall. That was ridiculous. And the funny thing is that after I rode VelociCoaster, it is easily my favorite coaster of all time. It is the best coaster experience I've ever had in the history of ever. And there's been a huge debate on whether, you know, VelociCoaster is overhyped, or whether it is, you know, super glazed and whatnot, or whether it actually lives up to the hype. And I think it does. It exceeded all my expectations, dude. There were so many moments of ejector airtime where I thought there wasn't, and it was ridiculous to me. And the reason why it's my #1 ride is because I really don't have any competition until I ride Iron Gwazi and or Stardust Racers, which I'm hoping to do in 2026. But that is the end of the video. That is VelociCoaster. I'm not going to do a thing where I give it like a point out of 10 because I don't want to, you know, do Coaster Studios. But VelociCoaster is an incredible ride. It's my #1 coaster for a very good reason. And I hope that this review gave a little bit of like the feeling on how VelociCoaster is, because it is an absolutely relentless ride from start to finish. It is one of Universal's masterpieces, and it's easily one of the best coasters in the world for a reason. So yeah, I appreciate you for watching. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.